things that was very noticeable is that, as you were saying, we were often looking for a seamless soup to nuts kind of a solution where you didn't have to go to 5 different vendors to do 5 different things. The Chinese companies often offered a much larger span. And in situations where they didn't offer everything that we were looking for, they would often mention a Chinese company that they would either work with and provide the solution to the client, or at least would promote that company. So it almost seemed like China first. They were trying to grow the pie in China. I haven't seen that in India. We often compete. That is my sense. I don't remember people co-promoting each other's companies within India. I just want to see whether that has been something that has been discussed. Have there been forums that you all are aware of, because you are the leading CROs, where you've actively tried to collaborate, not just compete? And then do you bring out niches that you say, if this comes, we would rather work and give the best of India in this area to Mani or to Schwappen or to CSN, or are we going to keep competing and losing to other countries?
After spending about 20 years in the US in 2007 to run GVK Bio, one of the first things I did is to get some of the people on this panel as well as other CROs together to meet once a year, once in 6 months, to at least discuss the issues that we have as a community, and so we can present them to the government and try to influence. I think over the last year and a half it has waned a bit. I think each of us got too involved in our operational challenges, and so that has waned. So I apologize for that, but we should probably get that going again. But nevertheless, I'll just give you an example of what GVK Bio has done. For example, we don't offer any GLP tox capabilities today in GVK Bio. We don't offer formulation services. Neither can we do structural biology work. But for each of these, we have partners identified. They're not one of them, but we have other partners identified in India as well as outside of India. And we do co-market these partners with our customers because it's an advantage for us to be able to say that we can do it all. We will program manage the whole thing, and here are our partners. There have been cases where we've gone to market together. So maybe our formulations partner and us have gone together and said, okay, they will make the drug product, we will make the drug substance, and we'll jointly own this. But GVK Bio will take the responsibility to deliver it. So I think it's happening. I'm sure they probably have examples of this as well. So I don't think it's that. I don't think that India is not doing it. I think we are definitely thinking about it. We are definitely doing it because it's an advantage for the company to be able to be a general contractor to do that.
I want. We are all good friends, so we compete, but we also get together. As Mani said, we have an association, and we've done a lot of work through that organization in trying to handle the whole human resource development issue. So I must say that prior to that there was a lot of poaching and practices of people. I mean, short-term kind of practices that ultimately don't really bear fruit. Having said that, I would say that it is there are forums where we can participate and talk about the industry as a group. I mean, I've been part of US-India Business Council, also in the FICCI subcommittee of life sciences, and a big part of those activities are in trying to lobby for certain things that we as a total industry need as opposed to individually. But having said that, we do have to compete with each other because it's like pharma companies initially were doing work with a few CROs together. Increasingly, they have been kind of consolidating that into single relationships. And so it's very important that we showcase our capabilities and build some differentiation. And I think we are all building differentiation. I don't think GVK Bio or Origin, TCG, LS have the same capabilities. They're different. In some areas we are common, but there's there are certainly certain values that are driven by one and not the other.
I just want to give one more example where this promoting each other kind of concept can sometimes backfire, and this came from a customer, and this is a real story. He told me that he sent one proposal to a company in China, and he got 7 proposals back from 7 different companies. Now that certainly doesn't, give you confidence on protecting your intellectual property, and so they might be promoting each other, but if as a customer I gave it to one company and I get 7 companies responding to the same proposal, and that company actually chose not to work in China anymore based on that one example. So sometimes it can backfire like that.
I have, yes, good morning. I have, in my humble opinion, regarding CRO industry. When we're talking about CRO industry, especially in the life science sector, we always think about China as the leading country for the CRO. As a matter of fact, if we look at the industry, the biggest companies are actually US companies. Charles Rivers on the early stage discoveries, Quintiles on the clinical trials. So they are the real major player actually in the CRO space. Because the CRO is outsourcing from big pharma. It's not country to country. It's industry to industry. That being said, when we're talking about the CRO in the developing countries, which is the BRIC countries, Brazil, India, China, Russia, Brazil, India, China. If you look at these 4 countries specifically, China is very strong in chemistry. That's where the CRO started, right? Because the cheap labor, you can hire 100, 200 chemists. You can do the organic synthesis. That's where the Wuxi Pharma and Shinfarm come out of this industry. That's what people are talking about, the Chinese CRO industry. Actually, it's only strong in the chemistry. If Charles River bought Wuxi Pharma last year, people were not going to talk about Chinese CRO anymore. So that's the reality. However, they are very strong in chemistry front. That's the cutting edge. If you look at Brazil, right now the Brazil government is very supportive of the CMO business because China there's no CMO. So they recognize opportunity. So the government and the industry have a concerted effort to do the CMO business because they think they will compete with other countries. If you look at Russia, right now the Rosnano is the government-backed as well as the private-backed venture capitals. They have billions of dollars. So they look at the technology, they think the nanotechnology would be the next cutting edge, and they will be a very competitive advantage for them. Therefore, they travel globally and buy all these nanotechnologies in life science. So what I want to, because you guys are the leading leaders in the CRO business in India, so within the BRIC countries, I want to get from you guys, what do you see compare with Brazil's strategy, Russia's strategy, Chinese strategy, what the Indian strategy would be? Is that combined with healthcare, IT, because IT is a major thing in India, or some other specific areas that, because you guys are in this country, that you are more familiar with? Thanks.
Our views about China, possibly because many of the other CROs, except for Charles River and Covance, whether it's PPD or Quintiles or others, they're all mostly clinical CROs, and they've become extremely big. And no CRO out of India or China today has the global scale to do global clinical trials. So, and we understand that that is a very big. So I think we are mostly focused on discovery. And in discovery, it is definitely Covance to a certain extent. Covance also doing development work. And then Charles River, I think, is a big preclinical company. And then AMRI is probably the other one. Outside of those, if you look at outsourcing and then offshoring, and you mentioned BRIC countries, I think the big pie definitely is going to China because of the initial strength of the chemistry. In terms of CMO, actually India is possibly stronger than Brazil. There's over 100 FDA-approved plants in India. Because of the strength in generics, India does a lot of CMO activities. Divi's Labs, which is based here, is one of the largest and fantastically profitable company.